Welcome back to the show. We're so glad you're here. Let's jump right in, shall we, guys?
Let's do it.
This is a continuation from last week, so if you didn't see last week, go check out last week's. And
Click. There's
so
somewhere
that
to
this
click.
conversation will make sense.
And then come back here so you can finish the conversation.
And then go back to that one.
This is
And
part
then come back.
2. There's 1, and then this is 2nd. Okay.
Just go.
I remember as a kid thinking, I'm going to remember this when I'm a parent so that I can know what they're feeling. But now that you're a parent, you see that you were an idiot when you're a 15 or 16-year-old. You're like, man, I was an idiot. I didn't know what I was talking about. But how do you bridge that? Like, how do you get to the 15 or 16-year-old?
Because you can't tell a 15-year-old they're an idiot. That's not going to work.
But you will realize later in life that you're an idiot. It's like, you'll get that, yes, I was wrong at this point.
It's like the old cliche of like, you know, your parents, I've been there, you know, I've gone through the same things you're going through. And when you're 16, you're like, no, you don't.
It's not the same.
You were never. Yeah, so like when you're 15 and 16 and you're doing these things and you know your parents are like trying to guide you through them and you just like want to fight with them about it. And then later on, you know, I look back and it's like, yeah, I was completely stupid, you know, like I think, you know, back then I knew I shouldn't be doing it, but you're still going to fight. So like now I think, great, you know, like when my kids are adult, how am I going to like implement, you know, the I've been there, you know, I've done that, you know, believe me, you know, because I remember having these talks with Dad, and Dad's like, you know, I went down that path, I know it's not the right one, or, you know, just different talks like that, and I would think in my head, he doesn't know, you know, he's my dad, like, he's an old dude, you know. Yeah.
Something that I really worry about, I started dating you when I was 15.
That's
what
not
are we going to do?
happening.
Right.
At 15, and
At
it's like,
15.
I'm going to marry him one day.
They are the rare case that you end up marrying the person you dated when you're 15. I would say 99.9%
Well,
of the
I'm
time.
a rare specimen. I mean,
But what are we going to do when Braley says that?
no. Hell no. That son of a bitch.
Daddy, I love him. That's
Yeah.
we always quote that like from Little Mermaid, Prince Eric. But Daddy, I love him. Like you just wait for our
The important
daughters.
thing is like when they're 15 and 16, you can't tell them, okay, I've been there, just trust me. Because most kids won't. They have to go through it.
Yeah.
And that's
And
just
that's
life.
how
That's
how they will learn in the future that they were
I think the biggest fight is, as a teenager, you were so mad because you felt misunderstood. Is like the best, like they just don't understand. And so I don't know how you not let your child feel like, I do understand how you feel like, and not let them, because when they get on the defense and they fight with you and it's like they don't want to communicate. And that's the biggest thing with Logan is I feel like he's misunderstood. So I always try to bridge both gaps and like understand Logan's side and my mom's side. And then everyone's like, stop taking Logan's side, Carlie. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to help him feel understood as a kid. But
I think the biggest, the best thing you can do in that situation, I feel like, is being able to talk to your kids without raising your voice. Without acting like you're
Making
doing this and
into
you're
a
in trouble
fight.
and you're.
I agree.
If you're just able to sit down and be like, well, how do you feel about this? And you know, one thing I was parented in both ways. I remember my dad and I just yelling at each other. I'm like, I love him, Dad, and like later being like, I don't love him. Dad, that's totally right. But like, because of the tone, I wanted to fight back.
Yeah.
But when he would come to me and like I'm expecting this big old fight, and he would just be like, honey, I love you and I'm just concerned about this, and he was like way cool about it, I was like, oh, well, we can actually have a conversation and I won't have to get all,
We can
Yeah,
talk.
you know.
that's just human nature. Yeah, and I'm bad at that sometimes because
It's
I
butler
do. Like,
nature.
I do. I get worked up and I'm just like,
It's hard.
and it's hard
really
to just be like.
just,
the hardest thing about
I'm a
being a
parent,
parent
I need to be
is knowing how to
calm.
control your emotions.
Patience.
And being able to expect or
that's-
accept if your kid's like going to make you sad or mad to be
Right.
like, I'm the parent here. I have to be in control.
Right.
But then at the same time, knowing when it is important to have a stern voice.
stern
Because sometimes
voice,
you
yeah.
do need to have a
Yeah.
stern
Yeah.
voice. So it's all juggling.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
tough
if I
love.
could go back and like redo my teenage years, that's one thing I would have done. Like, I always thought like I couldn't actually talk to mom or dad about things like, you know, like we were saying, like they wouldn't understand. But like, if I could go back and just be honest with them and open about, you know, things that were happening and things were going on, it'd be so much easier for both parties, you know. But I feel like that way now, like I can tell mom and dad anything, you know. like,
Yeah.
and we talk about things like that happened when I was 16 years old.
Even
that-
things you don't want to hear, mom and dad, I love to talk to them about now. And their faces are like,
Well-
maybe I don't want to hear.
But I always think, how am I gonna like approach my kids that way? Like, honestly, like I'm just here to listen, you know, and like you were saying, not make it into a fight, but like, you know, I'm your parent, but I want to listen to what's going on, you know. I'm not gonna get mad at you. And, you know, maybe if you're dating boys.
Maybe to like take a break and relax and think about it and then talk to them, which is so hard not to react right at that moment. And to take a second.
That's why mommy timeouts are really
calm
good.
down. Yeah.
I think the best
Really
thing.
need a mommy timeout.
I think sometimes it's important to realize that it's like, okay, I know all the stupid crap that I have done, and I feel like I ended up okay. You know, so you got to realize that your kids are probably gonna do a lot of that same stupid crap. I think I'm okay, but your kids are probably gonna do all that same stupid crap and end up okay. You know, that's the thing, is that you have to experience these things for yourself sometimes. If you're really wise, listen to the counsel of others and learn from other people's mistakes. What's that saying? You know, wise people learn from their own mistakes, or like really, or whatever.
Something
like
You
that.
learn from the mistakes of people already. You don't have to make those same mistakes yourself.
Right.
You know?
Mia, do you feel like it's going to be hard because we're single moms, and so like, do you and your ex co-parent well? I don't feel like me and my ex do. I feel like Cooper's one way with his dad and then a different way. Does that worry you?
That's important to me to really have an agreement on how we're going to raise our child. And we're really good at communicating, and we're really good at talking about it and keeping the routine, and we're really good with that. I think.
What was your dad like, and did you like look for that in your?
Yeah, my dad and I are very close, and he was always very patient, very. One thing that stuck to me is whenever I would ask a question, like, what's this, what's that, he always had an answer, and if he didn't, he would say, let me find out. And I always thought that's what I would want to do with my kid too, is always have an answer and find out about it. But just like very patient and very open about communication and problems. I've never felt like I had to hide anything from him. And I really hope, and I think my daughter's going to have that same friendship and relationship with my ex.
I think that's hard as single parents because like you obviously are not together for a reason, but I really respect that you have that like relationship, because me and my ex don't, and it's almost like sometimes I feel like Cooper is placed in the middle because our emotions, you know, because we are upset at each other, it comes out on Cooper. Well, I'm not going to tell you that Cooper's doing this or whatever because he's upset or mad at me, and so that's why I'm grateful for my brothers, because I feel like Cooper really does have like 5 dads.
Yeah.
But I love when Cooper calls you guys dad.
We got her to cry. Yeah. Done. 5 points.
But like last night, Cooper was praying. He's such a dork.
It's all right.
And he said, he said, Heavenly Father, I am so happy to have Shay and Casey as both my daddies. And I'm like, see, I don't need to get married. Cooper loves my brothers. So I'm grateful for that, because even though, I'm such an idiot. I'm like,
it's okay.
Even though we have like such a bad relationship, I feel like when you have such good family, it doesn't matter like if Cooper's dad's involved, but like even though we do have a bad relationship, I have such good brothers and such a good dad that it's like, it's made me feel better. Like, okay, Cooper's not going to be this crazy kid when he gets older because of our like.
He's got father figures with you guys.
That's what when you first moved into our house, and it was like that first week that you'd moved in, and I'm like, I didn't want to father Cooper because I'm like, I'm not his dad. But after about a week of that, I'm like, okay, this is bullcrap. You're living in my house, and you're my kid, and I'm gonna tell you what to do.
And Cooper's more wild than all the kids.
Yeah,
So.
he needs some fathering.
That goes back to
he needs 4 fathers.
That goes back to like having a close family, like we do. You know, like you can make that choice to be close and have a tight family like we do, and I think we always have. Is it's sometimes, at first when we all moved down here and we're living so close, it was like, okay, me and Kayli would be like, we're not gonna like try to punish other kids or talk to them. Now it's just like, all right,
you got it. It's like we are.
Like Cooper feels like my kid,
Right.
Same with your guys'
I feel like
kids.
as a parent, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I never feel offended. If you guys ever...
Yeah, beat my kids, whatever you need to do. I just want you that on the table. You can yell at them.
You know.
But do you guys know how lucky you all are to have each other? Like here,
Yeah.
Seriously, my family's in Canada. I feel
Yeah,
alone.
you can be a part of our family. Jump in.
Part of our family.
But like you're so lucky to have each other, and like Carlie, like you said, you're not alone. You have like this family here. You guys are all here for each other. It's
I think
so
that's
nice to see.
we've come from a strong family, and we
Yeah.
believe that that's one of the most important things. And I believe that just as far as society in general needs strong families.
Yeah.
Our world, all the major problems that we have in the world are due to a lack of a good family foundation. If that's the core, I think if we could just get back to the core family belief, that will solve 75% of all the world's problems. I guarantee it. That strong family base. And that's been lost a lot. And I feel like, for whatever reason, the families are being destroyed, and it is. We are very lucky, and I think we realize that, and so we want to strengthen that.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about it, is it's literally just a matter of choice. Like, do you want to have a strong family or not? And as a collective, you can decide that and say, we love each other. We want us to be strong. We want to be there for each other. And because it is family, you're going to have, you get in the biggest fights with your family. It's like, you're willing to yell the meanest things at the person you love the most when some idiot on the street you're going to be polite to, but you get in those biggest fights with the people you care most about. Just because the emotions are deeper and stuff.
Yeah.
Should I talk some more? What else should we talk about? I don't know, dude.
I know.
Somebody else say something.
I can obviously talk, so you guys take over today.
Crybaby over here.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't know why, but I do.
I love it.
So, what makes a good father? What do you guys?
Skinny
what do you guys
jeans.
think?
That's why Shay's a better father
Such a
than
good
me.
dad.
I think love. I think it all comes, like Shay said, the two things he wants to implement the most are that his kids will always know that he loves them and he'll do his
good.
best. And that, I mean,
That's all you can do.
yeah, I think if you show your kids that you absolutely love them no matter what
Right.
mistake they make. Because I remember at times I thought mom and dad didn't love me because, they come down on me. But that's why they did come down on me, because they love me and they wanted to see me progress and go through life and be successful. And so I think that's, most important to me anyways.
Yeah.
Something that I really loved about my dad was it didn't matter if we were playing sports or if we were cheerleading or dancing. He supported us so much in everything we did. He would practice jumps with me outside, and he would tell
He's a
me how to
cheerleader.
do things.
Mark, you're a tumbler.
He's such
You're a
a
tumbler.
man's man, but he would practice jumps and tell me to point my toes, but then he would go and play softball with us and basketball, and I love that about him, and I feel like you're that way.
I'm a tumbler.
You are.
Casey can point his toes.
Oh, yeah.
What about you guys?
Well, I agree with Casey that love is the most important thing, and just being able to realize that, just to be unselfish, really, because I feel like my dad sacrificed so much, and he just loved us so much, and we could see it by the way, he would do stuff with us, and when he parented us, it was always through love.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's the most important thing. That's all you can do is love your kids.
Love makes the world go round.
Yes, it does.
I also heard a quote that I love. I always have quotes, but and it's the greatest thing that a dad can do for his kids is love their mother.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important. My dad always made that really clear to us, that he loved us so much, but he loved our mom so much more.
Yeah.
So it made us all have
That's
respect
nice.
for each other.
And I tell my kids that. I tell them they come second place to her.
And they should.
Yeah. Like
They really should.
this is the first relationship that I had, and this is what I committed to. And the kids are, there are kids, but at the end of the day, they come second to my relationship with my wife. And I think they know that. And I think it's important that they know that, because I know that me and her, because they're going to grow up and they're going to have families of their own and they're going to leave, but our bond is going to be forever. We're always going to be together, and they're going to leave someday. So they need to know that if I had to choose, if the house is burning down and I'm going to pull her out before, but I'm so strong, I'd probably just carry them all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know why, but for some reason, as a little girl, I remember my dad could fix anything.
I know.
He was
I'm
amazing.
like, I always was nervous about that. That's one good thing about Dad, is that he could do anything with his hands.
You're like, my dad literally is
hand
super
And I was
good. He can do
pissed about that,
anything.
because I'm like, how am I going to learn how to do all this? Because I
He
figured
can
to be
cook.
he's good.
Waffles, enchiladas. He can fix
really
anything in
good
the house, a car, gardening, retiling a
The
bathroom.
robot?
He's a really good dancer.
He is, really.
And that's the thing about
Singer.
you don't have
Singer.
to be able to do that to be a good dad. Because I always was concerned. I was like, I don't know how to build a house. Like, Dad could build a house if he had to. And I was like, I'm going to have to learn how to do that. But I found out that if you have a debit card, you can do a lot of that stuff.
Well, I think it's just the kids think that, like, when you're young, because my kids ask me the weirdest questions all the time, like things I wouldn't ever know, but I think in their head they think that I know them. So I just lie to them and tell them this
But
big,
Dad
huge,
really
weird
did.
answer.
Like, Dad could do anything, and I don't think it's because he knew, but Dad, it's just, he's a hard worker, and he's good at trying things, and that's one thing that I learned from Dad, is he'll try and learn how to do anything. Like, he'd come to my cheer competitions, like, I feel like the biggest pervert, but he would come and, like, he would do everything for us.
So as somebody, you have, your ex-husband is your child's dad or father or whatever. But, if you're going to marry somebody else, or somebody else is going to come into your life, that's something that that has to be on your mind, is this person is going to kind of be a father potentially to your kid.
Well, she does have a dad, somewhat a father figure, somebody that could be a good influence on my child, that can teach them things, but also a good friend. And I think, like, when we were talking about what you think is a good dad, I think a good listener is good, because when you listen, you know what their needs are, and you pay attention to their needs, and then you can offer what they need. So I look for there's plenty of things I look for, trust me. But definitely somebody that could be a good father figure, without necessarily being a dad, but also just like a good friend that could give a good example.
Yeah.
Right, Carlie?
Great.
Yes, high five, low five for that. So I feel good. I feel like I've refreshed my life. We've been here talking for 30 minutes, and it's already.
I think we need to have these guys on more often.
Yeah,
We pretty much take over every show.
We need to
we're
have
on.
the dad's view.
Yeah.
I know. So now you guys are getting your fill for the dad's view. So let us know in the comments below any other topics you guys want to talk about, or.
Let us know if you guys want to see these guys again.
Yes. Thanks everybody for stopping
you.
by. We'll see you next
Bye.
time.